if you are, yeah, you're in a position or trade position, especially if you are trading future, you are every day, like every hour, every minute, you are monitoring like liquidation risks, especially if you are trading in futures, you are at risk of liquidation. So if you've ever had a position open in DeFi, for example, you know that low level anxiety of okay, so especially for people who trades. So is my collateral ratio still healthy? Is it not? Am I going to wake up to a notification that my position got liquidated at 3 a.m. or something? Because these things, like, usually they happens middle of the night, okay? And I assume you are sleeping at that, yeah, at that hour, okay? So an agent with a wallet actually can monitor this for you, okay? He could add collateral automatically or close a position before it hits liquidation. So all of this without waking you up, okay? Because the agent at the end of the story, it is autonomous, okay? The third example, I talked about email and outreach, okay? So if you do any kind of business development or whatever you want, you know that the actual craft of writing a personalized or custom pitch is maybe 20% of the job. The other 80% is like reach that person, find their email, send it, follow up 3 days later, like handle the not right now replies, re-engage, I don't know, 5 weeks later or whatever. This is mechanical work, and this is could be very doable by an agent, and there is already agents who are doing this, okay? And the beautiful thing, every task you name is essentially a job description. And like, this is a new era that we are living of the agentic AI. You don't hire a contractor to do the job. On the other hand, you deploy an agent, give it a wallet, give it an MCP server, give it whatever tool you need in order to achieve that task, and he will do that for you. Okay, as simple as that. And I know, so, guys, I told you like earlier, like it is a bit scary for a lot of people. They are probably asking this question that, but tomorrow I could be replaced by an AI agent. And unfortunately, that's something true. Okay, you could be replaced by an AI agent, and you probably like noticed that nowadays it is not easy to find a job. It is not easy to find a job. It is not easy to get accepted. Like the competition is so hard. There is a lot of people, but not enough positions for everybody. Why? Because AI is doing like most of the job nowadays. So being you, know, being you, knowing how to handle these tools would be a huge plus for you in the market. Okay? And that's what this session is about. No automation in the old sense, okay? Because we used to have bots, and everybody probably used bots, but bots, they are stupid, okay? They do like, they have a script, they run on a cron job, okay? Okay, they trigger actions, but they don't have this thing called thinking, okay? AI agents, they think, they resonate. Bots, they cannot do that. So let's say an intelligent bot is an AI agent, okay? Because an AI agent, he is autonomous, okay? He thinks, he make decisions, okay? And operate the world the way an employee would. And that's the big difference between them. And talking about agentic AI, let me go to the next slide. Yes. AI versus agentic AI. And trust me, guys, you are using AI, like agentic AI, every day without even knowing it. Let's start with a problem. So, the word AI, okay? It's doing too much work right now. Like when most people say, I used AI for this, they mean they typed something into ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever and got a really good answer back. That is genuinely useful, okay? But it is one specific kind of AI, and it's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about something even better, okay? What we are talking about is a different category entirely. And the confusion between these two things is responsible for a lot of misplaced skepticism, I'm sorry, and a lot of missed opportunities. So let's try to draw the line clearly in here. So standard AI, what you are using when you are, like when you talk to a chatbot, that's standard AI. It is called a large language model, okay, or an LLM. And the way it works, it is very elegant, okay? It was trained on vast amounts of text from the internet, books, codes, research papers, a lot of things, a lot of data. And during training, it learned patterns, okay? It learned patterns. It's very important to remember this word. So how language works, how idea connects, how problem are structured, they are all patterns, and AI learn these patterns. Okay, so it knows how to like differentiate between them. Okay, so when you give it a prompt, it doesn't think the way you do. It predicts the most statistically likely useful response or answer based on everything it was trained on. And by the way, when you hear this answer, that sounds very reductive, okay? But the output can be genuinely impressive, like code analysis, writing, but think of it like AI doesn't think like human beings do. Okay? They are very very different, okay? Uh but here's the critical limitation in here. It only exists in the moment of the conversation, okay? Close the chat window and it forgets everything. It has no memory. That's an LLM, okay? Ask it to check prices every hour, for example. It can't. It doesn't run in the background. Ask it to send an email. Yeah, it can describe an email, but it cannot actually send one unless you've given it very specific set of tools. Try to type to ChatGPT, send me an email to my boss and tell him, I don't know, something. He cannot do that, okay? Because it's an LLM, and that's the limitation of LLMs, okay? Unless they have a very specific set of tools, and we will talk about MCP later, okay? So yeah, it answers, it generates, it advises, but it does not act, okay? So now let's talk about the shift, the big shift, introducing agentic AI, the new thing. Now let me describe something different. Imagine software that doesn't just answer questions, it it try to it pursues goals, okay? Like software that wakes up on a schedule, checks its environment, decides what to do, call external services, execute actions, evaluates what happened, and repeats. Like software with persistent memory, the ability to plan multiple multi-step sequences, and the authority to spend resources to get things done. Like this is like basically like cloning human beings. But yeah, we are not cloning human beings because human beings, they are weak after all. Like AI is much much powerful, so we are making clones of us, okay? We are having like, we could make an army of agents that could work for us to have to get things done for us. That's a very different topic, guys. And that is an AI agent, by the way. So the language model is still in there. It's the reasoning engine, but around it, you've built a scaffold, memory, tools, runtime loop, like, and critically, for example, a wallet, the rest is something that behaves not like a consultant you call when you need answers, but like a staff member who works whether you're watching or not. So the fourth component of an agent, let me be precise about what makes something an agent, okay? Now I'll try to explain to you how to create an agent, because LLMs, we have a lot. We have Gemini, we have GPT, we have Opus, we have Sonnet, we have Mistral, we have Llama, we have a lot. We have a lot. DeepSeek as well, and they are very available. We could find them for even sometimes for free. Like Mistral, they give you 1 million token per month for free. So so this is a huge opportunity for you to create an agent, guys. Okay, but let me explain to you how to create an agent first of all. It's very important. So let me be precise about what makes something an agent. Technically, there are four components that need to be present. First, a goal or objective. The agent has something it's trying to achieve. It's not waiting passively for a prompt, it has a mission. You see the difference, guys? In AI, he's like, what's the first message that AI displays for you? First of all, like when you log in, they say to you, hi, how can I help you? Like, how can I help you? Like, this is the first thing that you will hear from an AI. But actually, yeah, it is waiting for a trigger, it is waiting for a prompt. On the other hand, agents, they have a goal, they have an object, like objective. Okay, the agent has something that it is trying to achieve. Okay, it has a mission. That's the first thing. Okay, the second thing, we need a reasoning engine. Okay, we need a brain. Okay, what is this brain? It's the LLM. Okay, like almost always a language model. Okay, this is what does the planning, the evaluation, the decision making. It figures out like what actions to take, like given the current state, etc., etc., etc. So it could be DeepSeek, could be Llama, it could be GPT, it could be any agent of your choice. Okay, any engine of your choice, could be any LLM. So that's the second thing. The third thing, the ability to actually do things in the world. Search the web, write to a database, call an API, send a transaction, read a file. Like, you need tools. You need to give the agent tools, okay? Because it's good, he's thinking, he's making decisions, but if he cannot act, if he cannot trigger actions, that's a problem. So you need to give it tools in order to execute, okay? Without tools, the agent is just thinking. With tools, it's acting. That's the third thing. And the fourth thing, I think you already guessed it, it's the memory. The ability to retain information across steps and across sessions. Short-term memory for the current task, long-term memory to build expertise over time. When you have all four, goal, reasoning, tools, and memory, you have an agent. Remove any one of them, and you are back to a chatbot. So, the chatbot or an AI chatbot only do the thinking. It could advise you, it could give you information, it could answer your question, but that's like the limit. You cannot do more. An AI agent, you, like you could give him a goal, you could give him a purpose, and with the reasoning, he could execute tools. Like he could execute actions, sorry, using tools. Okay? And since he has the memory, he could remember everything. It doesn't matter if you talk to him like last week, he will remember that. Okay? So do you have questions about this part? I think it's very interesting. And I think it will help you, especially if you want to create an AI agent. Yes, I think there is no questions. I think it's very clear for everyone.
Guys, for the
So
ones who have just a second, Santa, if you have any question, just raise your hand or open your mic directly. Okay, guys? Feel free, it's your space in here, and feel free to ask everything. Okay? This is your chase in the end. Thank you.
thank you. I mean, let me try maybe to share. No, not share. To put it on this mode, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, I think it's better for everybody. No. Yes. Perfect. So let's talk about now, let's try to see how an agent actually works behind the scenes. So we explained how an agent works and what he needs exactly in order to do actions and be autonomous. So let's introduce the loop in here. So let me show you what actually happens inside an agent when it runs. So there's a loop, okay? 4 stages, repeated continuously. Understanding this loop is the difference between thinking of agents as magical, okay, and understanding them as engineering. Because when you see agents working, you say, "Oh, this is great. This is wonderful. Yeah, this is something extraordinary." But I don't want you to look with this perspective, okay? I want you to look at them with the engineering perspective because they are very fascinating and they are very easy as well, okay? So the first stage is perceive. Before the agent can do anything, it has to understand its environment, okay? Depending on the task, of course. That might mean reading a price feed from an exchange, for example, okay? If you don't have internet connection, it's not possible. So it needs to understand the environment. What do you have in here? What's the scope? What's do it like? Do I have the necessary tool, etc., etc.? So it might mean checking its email inbox, for example. It might mean querying a blockchain for a recent event. It might mean also reading a document you gave it access to. Okay? So the agent is essentially asking, what is the state of the world right now? And it uses its tool, API, database reads, blockchain queries, like whatever you gave it in order to find out. Okay? So every time it asks, like, what is my state right now? What do I know? What do I have? What do I need to know? And what do I need to do in order to know? Okay? Always, in every prompt, it asks these questions. So this is important. The agent doesn't have an always on view on the word, okay? It samples the word at the start of each loop iteration. So how frequently it loops determines how real time it is. So some DeFi, decentralized finance agents, for example, loop every few minutes. Some autonomous outreach agents for emails, for example, loop like once a day. It really depends on the use case in here. Okay? So that's stage one. Stage two is plan. So, and probably when you ask, like maybe Claude or any agent, you will see him like doing things behind the scenes, like writing, for example, thinking. And after that, yeah, the user wants to know this and this and this. Let me try to look or search the web right now. Yeah, I found results. Sometimes you see it like the logs of the AI reasoning. Okay, so it's persevering. Okay, so it perceiving. Sorry, so it's trying to perceive. That's what it's doing right now. Okay, and after it perceives, it's doing the planning. Okay, it will plan. So it is the second stage. So now the agent has the data. The question is, what should it do? Okay, this is where the language model, the reasoning engine, takes over. Okay, the LLM in here. So the agent has a goal. It has the current state of the word. It has a memory of past actions. The language model reason give all of this, okay, like not the LLM, sorry. So all of this will be fed to the LLM, and it will give it the next step. Okay, so the LLM will be fed like everything: the goal, the current state of the word, the memory, the past action, and it will cook you something. Okay, for complex tasks, this isn't just picking one things to do. The agent might decompose the goal into subtasks. By the way, it might evaluate two possible approaches and choose the safer one. Okay, and that's what differentiates an LLM A and an LLM B. Okay, so sometimes LLMs, yeah, they are very different. Okay, they differ. And it really depends on your choice in here. Okay, so yeah, also it might decide the situation hasn't changed enough to warrant action and just do nothing in this case. So that's all on the LLM. Do nothing, by the way, is actually an important decisions. Agents that act when they shouldn't are very dangerous. Like good agents, like they design like like they are designed like, I don't know, the reasoning about them is very important because they don't know to do things when they, yeah, when they shouldn't. Okay, so let me give you an example. I'm trying to think of an example. If you are, yeah, maybe try to do an audit. I don't know, maybe you are using Cursor. I don't know if you code, guys. If you are using Cursor, it's an agent that helps you to develop code. Okay, if you ask him to do an audit on your code, try to do that. Okay, if your code is good, imagine he says, for example, your code is bad and you are having these errors and I need to fix them, and they are not even bugs, and by those fixes it will create other bugs in the future. So that's why doing nothing is very important, and it is a very big decision. And good AI models, yeah, like when you see an AI model saying, yeah, it's good, it's fine, I don't need to act, it's not something necessarily bad. Okay, so that's very important. So here it depends on the LLM that you are using. Okay, so this is like stage 2. Now stage 3, which is the action. We act in here. So after the perceive, after the plan, we act. This is the stage that makes agents different, by the way, from everything that came before. Okay, the agent executes. It doesn't like suggest an action to a human. It takes the action, it sends the API call, it posts the message, it signs and broadcasts the transaction, it writes the file, it triggers the webhook. Yeah, the real world impact. Okay, and this is where the wallets, by the way, becomes very essential, because many real world actions involve value, like paying for compute, moving tokens, setting a bounty, depositing collateral, whatever you want, even buying from Amazon if you want. Okay, all of that requires economic agency, and we'll spend the next entire section, by the way, on why Web3 is the only infrastructure that gives an agent the economic agency without a human bottleneck. Okay, so yeah, this is the stage 3, which is acting, and the stage 4 is learning. Okay, because at every final stage, which is the fourth one, the agent must learn. That's why he asks you every time, "Are you good now? Like, I already made this. Is it good?" So he needs to know that everything is good, so he could learn from it. If there is something wrong, he will fix it. So after acting, the agent evaluates the result. Did the action succeed? Did the outcome match the expectation? Was there any error? Was the strategy suboptimal, for example? Okay. And if there is something to change, like it updates its memory, it adjusts its approach for the next iteration. So that's why you feel, oh my god, like this agent is so smart. He did this the first time, he made this error the first time, but the next like iteration he didn't repeat the same error, because he's updating the memory. And that's why we talked about the third thing that we needed in order to create an agent, which is the memory. That's why a memory is very important. Like when you talk to ChatGPT and try to fix an error with him, you need to repeat every time that he don't need to repeat this thing, because there is no memory. Okay, I'm not talking about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like a software now, very like very updated, and it is intelligent. It has like prompt engineering layers and everything, and memory, of course. But like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it was without. Okay, so yeah. What else? Yes, I think that's it. So these four steps, they are very important. Okay, and when you finish the learn, yeah, the loop starts again, back to perceive. So is there any other questions on this part? I think it's very important, and you need to understand it very well in order to create a an agent. We have a question. They could consume some tokens as well. Of course, they could consume tokens. Because you are using a, yeah, you are using an LLM. Obviously, you don't have a server to deploy that LLM on your server. Okay. I don't know. Maybe you have. I don't know. I won't judge. But if you, yeah, if you are using providers, okay, like Grok or Open Router or yeah, yeah, I forgot the other one. Together AI. Okay, these are providers. Okay, they give you a lot of LLM that you could use, but you need to pay tokens every time. Okay, and every LLM consumes tokens based on the computational power spent, so you need to pay that. Okay, so it really depends. But there is a lot of LLM who are free. For example, Mistral. Okay, Mistral is free. I think I will type this Mistral. You could check Mistral Cloud. Just, yeah, log in and get an API key, and you have an LLM that you could use, and you can create an agent with. There is Llama as well, 3.28 billion. Okay, you can find it all together AI. You can find it as well on Open Router, and you can find it on Grok. And I think Grok is the most generous free tier. Okay, I think Grok is the most generous free tier on the Llama 3.2. Okay, try to maybe to look for these, and if you have any, yeah, Kimi as well. I didn't use Kimi yet. I've heard some good things about Kimi. But yeah, they are free. They have some models free that you could use them. So even if you don't have money to spend on tokens, guys, you could always use free services with a rate limit, of course. But it's very like, yeah, like you could do a lot of things with the free services. You could create an agent for personal agents. That's fine. Okay, but for, if you are to trying to expand and monetize your services, you need to pay. But for personal services, it's very good. It will do the job. Okay. So yeah. So let's go to the next slide. I think why agents needs Web3. This is a very important like topic, and yeah, if we have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me, guys. I'm trying to yeah, put them on the chat. I'm trying to maybe split the screen on. Yes, do you have a question? Yeah, I'm sorry, it was Discord, sorry. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So why agents needs Web3. So let's try to set a problem in here and try to solve it together. So this is the part of the session I've been building like toward. Okay, so I'm preparing you for this part of the session because it's the most important one. So we talked that AI agents, they are very doable. You need an LLM. It's very obtainable. You could like it's very available. You can find it free services everywhere on the web. You only need to give it a memory, a set of tools, and some prompt engineering, which is setting a goal. Okay, and you have your agent. But is that enough in order to create something very helpful? Okay, because this is the question that unlocks everything. So why do AI agents need blockchain? Okay, of course, I'm always talking about blockchain as a technology, as an infrastructure, as something that could make your use cases better. Okay, can they just use normal banking infrastructure, for example, if they want to execute transactions? I'm talking about the AI agents in here. What do you think, guys? Can an AI agent execute a banking transaction? What do you think, guys? Yeah, it would be very risky, but we are not talking about risk in here because there is a barrier, which is the KYC. When you execute a banking transaction, you have to go by multiple steps. Sometimes like biometric, like authentication of the like, or maybe sometimes KYC if it's a big amount of money. So yeah, sometimes there is like specifications that conditions that a human needs to do. Okay, that's a big barrier actually. Okay, so and the answer is that most people haven't thought through like no, not if you want true autonomy. And here's why actually. So this is the trade fight problem. Traditional finance was designed for legal persons, guys. Okay, also Cloudflare always bans this. Yeah, I know. So exactly, exactly. That's why we have reCAPTCHA and a lot of things. So traditional finance, guys, TradFi was designed for legal persons, not just humans, but legal entities. Corporations, like registered businesses, entities that exist in a legal framework that can sign contracts that can be held liable. Okay, to open a bank, you need government ID or a company registration. To set up a payment processor like Stripe, you need a business, a tax ID, a human signatory. To receive a wire transfer, you need an IBAN, which requires a bank account, which requires an identity. Got it? You cannot create a bank account without an identity. Okay, you need to make in KYC in order to do that. Now ask yourself, what is an AI agent? It's actually a software. It's a process running on a server. It has no passport. It has no company registration. It has no legal identity. In the eyes of traditional finance, it doesn't exist. It cannot open an account. It cannot receive payment directly. Every single financial action it wants to take it requires like to take a human authorization. And that, like right there, is the fatal flaw of building like it is the fatal flaw of building autonomous agents on TradFi infrastructure. You build a 24/7 autonomous system that can reason and act, and then every time it needs to move value, it has to wake up a human in order to authorize. So the autonomy is broken at exactly the moment it matters the most. Okay, so that's the big problem. And the Web3 in here, it is the solution because it delivered this as a revelation. Now, here's the beautiful part. Web3 solves all of this at the infrastructure level. In Web3, identity and finance access are the same thing. You don't apply for an account, you generate a cryptographic key pair. The public key is your address, the private key is your authority. No sign up, no ID check, no credit approval, no jurisdictional restrictions or whatever. Okay? So any software, any Python script, any smart contract, any AI agent can generate a key pair in milliseconds, and the moment it does, it has a wallet. It can hold ETH, it can hold USDC, any token. It can send and receive value. It can interact with any smart contract that will accept its transactions. Okay? This is what permissionless mean means in Web3. It doesn't mean without rules. It means without needing someone's permission to participate. The protocol doesn't ask you who you are, it only asks you, do you have the private key? Because it seems if you have the private key, you are the real person. Okay? And there is a lot of technology who's trying to solve this problem, talking about ZK, zero knowledge proofs, and a lot of others maybe that we could talk about in the future, but not now. But yeah, for an AI agent, this is transformative. It goes from being financially invisible or unable to hold money or pay for anything to being a fully functional economic actor in a single key generation. Okay? You have questions. Does it look clear for you at least now? Do we move maybe to real examples? Okay, let's first talk about the Web3 evolution, like this Web3 evolution, like especially the first pillar. Let's go back. Yes, permissionless payments. Yeah, let's talk about that. So that's the first pillar, which is permissionless payment. So let me walk you through three specific actually capabilities in order to unlock this very cool thing. So pillar one is permissionless payments, and agents with a wallet can receive payments for completed work without human middleman. So think about it. Uh, this like what could be what can be possible? Okay, a marketplace where companies post tasks and bounties on chain. Agents can compete, to complete those tasks when the task is verified either by another agent or an oracle or a smart contract rule or whatever. The payment is released automatically, instantly, globally. Okay, I know it sounds like science fiction, but it could happen any day by now. Okay, so no invoicing, no 30-day payment terms, no currency conversion frictions. The agents earn in stable coins and can immediately use those funds to pay for its next tasks. And this is not futuristic idea, guys. Trust me. There is projects like Fetch AI. I don't know if you know Fetch AI. Autonomy as well. There is also Gig Protocol, I think. They are building exactly this infrastructure right now. You could check them, especially Fetch AI. There are agents that makes huge profits right now as we speak. Yes, yes, yes. So agents do the hard work right now, and we get the money. Yeah, it's a different era. It's a weird one, actually. So yes, it even pays for hosting for. Yeah, I know, it's happening. I know. Pillar two, autonomous resource allocation. So an agent that can only act when a human pays its bills, isn't truly autonomous. For an agent to operate independently, it needs to be able to pay for its own infrastructure. So as Nidal was saying, think about what an agent needs to run in order to run. So compute time on cloud services, API credits, storage for its memory, gas fees, on-chain transaction. With a wallet, the agent can pay for all this directly, so he auto finances himself. So that's crazy. So this creates a remarkable dynamic, financially self-sufficient software. Okay, so you see the agent with an initial allocation. It uses that allocation to complete tasks. It earns from those tasks. It pays its own bills. It operates indefinitely. Okay, indefinitely. Sorry. So this is the economic model on autonomous agents. Okay, agents are micro businesses, agents that sustain themselves financially. Okay. The third pillar is the verifiable identity and proofs. So, one of the hardest problems with autonomous agents is trust. So, how do you know what an agent actually did? How do you know if it's reliable or not? How do you know if it hasn't been compromised or manipulated by somebody or another agent maybe? So on chain, everything is transparent and auditable. So every transaction and agent sends it's like it is recorded there forever. So we can look at agent's wallet history and see how many tasks has it completed, what was it like success rate, has it ever misbehaved. Like you can even create another agent to monitor the first agent. Okay, so this enables like agent reputation systems. Okay, an agent that has completed, like for example, 1000 tasks with a 98% success rate gets paid more per task than a new agent with no history. So same as how a contractor with a track record commands higher rates. So, and by the way, with zero knowledge proofs, a cryptographic technique we'll cover in a later session. Like agents can even prove specific properties about themselves without revealing private information. Like I have completed 500 tasks in this category, proven cryptographically, no data exposed, etc. So closing this section, like on one sentence that you will remember, TradFi won't give a bank like account to a script. They won't do that. But Web3 gives a wallet to anything. That sentence is the entire case for why these two technologies belong together. They make a good marriage. Okay? Agents provide the intelligence and the autonomy. Blockchain provides the economic layer that makes that autonomy real. Okay? And talking about real world cases, we have a lot of them. Okay, so example one, like DeFi yield optimizers. So yeah, here's the problem of Yin, by the way. Like it is like for example in DeFi, there are dozens of lending protocols. Okay, like Aave, Compound, Curve, Morpho. I think there is a lot of them. Okay, there is a lot of them. I won't mention them all, but each one offers a different yield on like deposited asset, and those yields change constantly based on supply and demand. So the optimal allocation today might not be the optimal tomorrow. For human staying on top of this part-time job, I would say you need to monitor dozens of protocols, compare yields, calculate gas costs for moving funds, and execute transactions. All while the best opportunity might last only hours. So, like, Yin deploys what they call strategists, okay? And yeah, I think you already know about Yearn Finance, okay? Yeah, Yearn Finance. I will send it to you, Yearn Finance. Just check it, guys. So yeah, in case you don't know it. So Yearn deploys what they call strategists, essentially agents with on-chain authority. Okay, so these agents hold the vault's asset. They monitor protocols when a better yield is available and the gas cost is moving. Like yeah, they rebalance automatically. They harvest reward, swap them for more of the base asset, and compound the position. So the result user deposits once and the agent optimizes indefinitely. So Yearn has managed over $4 billion right now in assets under management at its peak, and that is $4 billion I think managed by autonomous on-chain agents. That's crazy. So no fund manager, no investment committee, just agents. That could be very. It is not. It's not. Could be a very. It is a very good use case, and yeah, it's live. You could use it. By the way, example two, we have autonomous B2B outreach agents, and we already talked about them. Okay, the agent that researches each company, reading their website, their recent LinkedIn activity, their job posting, which signal intent, like drafts a personalized outreach, sends the email, handles the replies, it qualifies the conversation. When a meeting is booked and verified, like the bounty is released on chain automatically. Okay, so the agent got paid, not a person, the agent. So we are paying agents right now. We are not paying human being anymore. So this is another use case. Prediction market agents as well. Poly market is a decentralized prediction market, by the way, where you bet on the outcome of real world events. Who will win the election? Will the Fed raise rates? Will this company be acquired? Each question is a market. So you buy shares representing yes or no. So the prices is the crowd's probability. Now, the interesting thing about prediction markets is that they are fundamentally information markets. The person who wins is the one who has the best model of reality. And increasingly, the best models of reality are built by machines. So, sophisticated traders on Polymarket are deploying agents that read news, feedbacks, and social media in real time, model the probability of outcome using historical data and current signals, identify markets where the current price is mispriced like relative to their model, etc., etc. And yeah, the agents make the decisions. Okay. Just these are three use cases. There is like several ones, several other ones that we could talk about, but yeah, this is the potential of the agents. And yeah, I hope at least you understand how to create an agent, how to yeah, especially from scratch, what it needs in order to be created. And next time we will talk about, yeah, the next session will be a bit technical, more technical. Okay. In the third session we will create an agent together. Okay. Do you have questions, guys? I saw agents goes from $10 to 4 million in poly market. I verified profile. Yeah, was legit. Yes, I know. Yes. It's insane. I know. It's insane. Is there question, guys? You could maybe throw this thumbs up if there is no questions. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next session. Bye bye. Thank you.